Hey everyone, a lot of you have been asking what are the CCI settings that I use, what are the settings that I use for relative strength, and what are the different kinds of things that you need to be aware of when you use my indicators or at least the indicators that I use. Okay, so today in this video, I'm going to focus and tell you in TradingView what are the different settings I use, what are the different indicators I use, and why do I use them. Okay, so let's get started without wasting much time. So I'm going to start off with first here TradingView and open. If in case you don't have TradingView, you can open it along with me. You can install it, pause this video, and come back and be with me. So the first thing, this is how my charts look, right? I have the price, which is here. I'm going to delete this. Just let's hide these. But this is how the price chart looks. I have the price with the candles. Now, in case you don't have these candles, or if you want to change the color of these candles, you can go to the settings and you can go here to the symbol and you can change the body color, you can change the borders, you can change the wicks. Now, for example, if you want black and white candles, then you can go here. Now, instead of green, if you want white, you can just go select white here, right? Now, if you see here, the candle has now changed from green to white. Okay, so for now, you can try all the others as well, the borders and wick as well. Just do a trial and error and you will figure out what colors you like. But for now, I'm going to keep it back to green and I'm going to focus on the indicators. So let's start off with first the CCI. So I'm going to open a plain chart and I'm going to ensure that the settings or at least the charts look like this. Okay, so open a plain chart like this. Let's hide everything. And now, if you do not know how to use TradingView, there's also another video that I did. You can refer to that. Or you can also follow, if you know how to at least search for basic things, follow what I'm doing here. So here you have indicators, metrics, and strategies, right? You see this nice little chart over here. All you need to do is click on this and then search for commodity channel index, right? Now here, since I have it in my favorites already, I marked this as favorites with a star. So it's showing up here, but for you, it will show up on your technicals section over here. And here you can choose commodity channel index. Now, the inbuilt indicators in TradingView usually come under technicals. Now, if you're looking for any public indicators someone else has coded, then you will find them under community scripts. Now, do not go to that yet, at least for commodity channel index. TradingView has a very nice indicator inbuilt. So just click on this and you will get the commodity channel index indicator populated. Now, next thing you have to do is go here and you will see, just hover on the CCI and you will see this kind of tools here. Click on the settings over here, right? Open settings and then go to inputs here and you will have a few parameters that you have to update. Now, the first parameter you have to update here is length, right? So length, instead of 20, the 20 is default. I'll tell you why I'm using 34 and not 20, but for now, change it to 34 and you will see it changing. The indicator has slightly shifted here and you will notice the change here. Now, what about source, method, or length? Now, in terms of source, I use the default HLC3. But in case you want, you can go and change this to close or you can try others and see how it works. But I'm going to use the default one, which is HLC3, and I always use the default one. Now, the next one is method and length. Now, I do not use these. I do not use the smoothing. So basically what the smoothing does is, now let's say you go to style and here you have smoothing line. Now if you select this, then you have this red line over here. So that is what you call the smoothing. Now basically the CCI is plotted raw and the smoothing, what it does is it just tries to calculate the simple moving average of the CCI and then it plots a nice line over here. But we will not use that, or at least I do not use that. So I'm going to switch it off so that you don't have to bother about this. So which means you do not have to change anything here. Now it's as simple as that. Now the next question is, why do I use 34? Now for that, for you to understand, I'm going to plot another commodity channel index here. And I'm going to show you the difference between the default 20 and the 34. Now this is the default 20. So let's change this color to, let's say, red so that we know it is 20, right? Now 20 is a short. It has a shorter period, which is 20, and this is 34. Now here, if you notice here, look at this point over here, right? Now, 28th November 2022, the week of 28th November 2022, CCI in 20 already reached 100, right? If you see here, just notice the values here. It already touched 102.55, whereas in CCI 34, it touched only 44.45. Now, what does it mean? Now, in the case of CCI 20, it looks at the past 20 candles that you have. Now, since you're in weekly chart, CCI 20 will refer to the last 20 weeks candle data and then it plots the CCI value. Now, since you're looking at the recent 20 weeks and you're not looking at 34 weeks or 52 weeks, what's happening is since the changes are quite fast, the CCI indicator also reacts much faster, and that's why CCI has turned bullish already, right? Now, when you have much shorter period in any indicator, the indicator will switch between bullish and bearish much faster than a longer indicator. Now, in this case, 34 did not go do bullish yet, but CCI 20 already is bullish. Now, I want to avoid very frequent noises or very frequent signals. I want to keep the signals, I want to rely on very good signals, which means if I increase the length of the period, if I'm basically looking at more than 20 candles, probably the signals will reduce. Now, if you look at 10 candles, now let's plot one more just to show you how frequent a 10 period CCI can be. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to enter 10 here, right? Now, if you look at 10, basically looking at the last 10 candles, which means we'll get more bullish and more bearish signals, right? Now, look here, at this point, we already had CCI 10 crossing 106, whereas 20 was only 32, and whereas 34 was still bearish, right? 34 was still in negative. Now, that's the difference you have to understand. Now, any indicator, when you use when you refer to only last few candles rather than last many candles, then you're going to get frequent bullish and frequent bearish signals. So for that reason, we are not going to use 10, we are not going to use 20, we are going to use 34, right? So this 34 is coming from a Twitter handle that I used to follow when I was learning, and that's where I got inspired, and I'm using 34 since then. I've been using 34 always, so you can also use 34. You can ignore the 10 and 20 for now and just keep to 34. So that's the CCI indicator. Now, CCI is also a momentum indicator. So in case you want more details, you can refer to this commodity channel index video I did. You will get more details on that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is relative strength. Now, a lot of people have questions on relative strength because not many use relative strength. I'm one of the few people on Twitter who use. So what you have to do is search for Mansfield relative strength indicator, right? And now here, there is a person called Stage Analysis, right? Now, there's original version and there is a relative strength version. Now, you need to use only this because that's what I use. So you click on this, right? And you click on this. Now, there are two indicators here. I'll tell you what these two are. But for now, just click on these two. And you have plotted two indicators here, right? So this is slightly a better version than this. But since I've been using this even before this was done by Stage Analysis, I've just not touched this at all. But you can also explore this. Basically, this indicator plots red, blue, and green areas, right? And also white areas. So green areas when the relative strength is higher than the 52-week moving average. Okay, so you can read more details around on the indicator itself on TradingView. But for now, I'm going to close this and I'm going to focus on this one, right? Now in this, you have a blue line. Okay, let's make it similar to what I have so that it's much easier to follow. Yeah, so I have a green line. And I also have a black line. Now, same indicator here is what I'm using. I have a slightly modified version, but it's okay. There's not much difference, believe me. So here the green line is nothing but the 52-week moving average of the black line. And what does the black line mean? The black line is nothing but the price of this chart, the price that you're referring to in this chart divided by the symbol here. Now, symbol here is SPX, so you need to change this to CNX 500, right? So I use CNX 500 because Nifty 500 is much less. Basically, Nifty has a very high weightage for a few stocks because of which Nifty has a different behavior. So use CNX 500, which is more proportionately weighted. It's more equal weighted than Nifty 50. So we're going to use CNX 500 because it has more stocks and is also not very skewed like Nifty 50. Okay, so we're going to use this as a primary benchmark for the relative strength. So what does relative strength do? So relative strength is basically nothing but the stock price, in this case, which is BPCL, divided by the symbol over here. So it's nothing but if the stock price is 100 and if CNX 500 is 1000, then it will divide 100 by 1000 and it will just plot that value on the chart. It's as simple as that. And then this black line is plotted. So basically, if the black line is trending down, which means the stock is not giving great returns compared to the benchmark index here. In this case, it is CNX 500. Now, what the green line does is, now since you have too many fluctuations, you see there are too many fluctuations here. The green line basically smoothens the curve, smoothens the black line, and it just plots a very smooth curve, right? Now in this case, the green line is the 52 week. So it takes the last 52 weeks and then it calculates a moving average on the last 52 weeks. Now, if you do not know moving average, please Google and understand that. But I'm not going to explain that further. And then once you plot this, then you will see that the black line and the green line is there. And when the black line is above the green line, then the stock is outperforming Nifty or outperforming CNX 500. Now, basically, when a stock is outperforming, you want to be in that stock because it's going to give you higher returns than CNX 500. Okay, so that's the second indicator. Okay, so you can search for this, change to CNX 500, and the moving average here is nothing but the 52-week moving average. Now, if you put 26, you're going to get a much faster moving average. So you'll see more ups and downs here. So I use 52 weeks because 52 weeks is nothing but 1 year, right? One period, 1 year rate of trend. And this is a much smoother because the period is much longer. Okay, so that's the second indicator. Now, the last indicator that I also use is the pivot points. So you go to pivot points and mark and search pivot points high low. Now once you get pivot points high low, you will see that the numbers are plotted. Basically, the high points are swing highs and the low points are swing low. Okay, now again, I'm not getting into the details of how this is calculated, but basically, if you go to the settings here, you click on this, you will have some numbers here. Now, basically, what this number tells is how many candles. So, for example, if I'm plotting, if this is plotting the high over here, it looks at the past 10 candles and it checks if the past 10 candles are below this point, right? And then it looks at the right side of this candle and checks if there are 10 candles below this candle, right? If there are 10 candles below this side and if there are 10 candles below this side, then that's marked as a swing high. The same thing is for the swing low. If there are 10 candles above this candle over here and if there are 10 candles above this candle over here, then it will mark this point as the swing low. Now remember, if you want much faster signal, then you have to shorten this number. So if you plot 5,5, you're going to see more numbers plotted. Now see, the moment you put 5,5, you see more numbers have come here, right? Now I try to use 10,10 by default. Sometimes I change it to 5,5 if I see that the trend is very, very strong. Then you can also use 5,5 because when a trend is as strong as this, it'll keep getting higher and then you might give back a lot of profit. So I try to use 5,5 when the trend is too strong. But if the trend is like this, a lot of sideways movement, then you can use 10,10, which is totally fine. So these are the three indicators that I use: CCI, relative strength, and pivot points. I hope I've clarified a lot of doubts that you all had. So these are settings that I use. Do let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video as well if I helped you understanding how I use TradingView indicators in TradingView. So I'm going to leave you here. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, trade safe. Until I see you in another video. Bye-bye.